I call this patio the beer garden. I've put a lot of work into this area, and it's my favorite part of the backyard. I have a nice walkway leading out of the beer garden. It goes under an arbor and across a stone bridge, which crosses over my dry riverbed. The problem is, however, that after crossing the bridge, there's no clean path to the larger main patio in the middle of the yard. This area is turned into a mess. The dogs use it as a run, and the grass is worn down, making it a muddy mess when it rains. In this video, I'm going to show you how I went from this to this. Let's get started. The first day. First step was to cut the outline of the path with a spade and a wrecking bar. The wrecking bar is necessary because of all the roots, rocks, and hard clay I had to get through to get the edge cut. If you're going to dig in Georgia, you're going to run into clay, roots, and giant rocks. Then for about 2 hours, I used a pick and shovel to excavate the path about 5 inches deep. That was my progress for day one. The second day, I spent about an hour finishing up the digging, leveling the bottom, and squaring up the edges of the path. After I completed the excavation on the second day, I went and got a half-ton of crush and run. This is the material I used to create a hard, compact base for the gravel to sit on top of. Crush and run is necessary for a paver surface. I'm not sure it is for a gravel path, but it doesn't hurt and it's not that expensive. After the crush and run is leveled out, it's necessary to compact it with a tamper. I used a manual tamper because of the small area I was working with. Good morning. I'm almost done with this walk path here. I worked on this for 2 days, a total of maybe 6 or 7 hours between both of those days. I've got it to the point where I've dug it out and I've put a half a ton of crush and run in here, tamped it down several times. I picked up these edging blocks. And the reason I'm using these as not pavers is because, as you can see, these are curved. Not curved, I'm sorry. They have an angle on them. And I've used them for other things. They look really nice. But the nice part about them is if I need to edge a curve like I do here, I could put them together like this and get a bend. Or if I need them straight, I can put the angles opposite each other and they'll be straight. I'm going to work out a pattern in here where I can just bring them along. And I've got some paver base here and run, but I'm going to use this base here so that I can put it in the bottom. And I've got some masonry tools here. I've done this before. This way I can make a nice even surface. I'll use this 2x4 to stack on top of them. This as I come along to make sure I'm getting them at least slightly even. It'll make a nice border or separation between the fescue and winter grass I have over here and the zeonzoia, which I have over here. So right now, the steps I'm going to do today in the 2-3 hours I spend out here is I'm going to tamp this down again, and then I'm going to get down and start laying out this border block with the paving sand. And then once I'm done with that, I'll go pick up some gravel. With that, I'm going to get busy. The more the crush and run is compacted, the stronger the base. When in doubt, tamp it again. I'm setting the first border blocks on the base gravel. I spread some of the base gravel along the edge of the pathway on top of the flattened crush and run. It's easy to spread and flatten with a trowel and a short 2x4. Once the base gravel is flat, it's pretty easy to lay the border blocks level. After I finished the border blocks on one side of the path, I laid them out on the other side. This part moves along pretty quickly after all the prep work digging and compacting the base. Well, laying that block border out went a lot quicker than I thought what I'm doing, but this looks really good. I can't wait to get the gravel. I didn't know if I was going to get to this today, but this laying this stuff took me about 30 minutes here, and then I'm going to go get some gravel today and get this poured out. Excited, almost done. Before I got the gravel for the walk path, I used the remaining gravel base to shore up the border blocks. I compacted the gravel base on the inside and the outside of the border blocks. While I was at the landscape materials yard, I saw a product called chipped slate. I like this much better than the gravel I plan to use for the pathway. So what I ended up with was medium-sized chipped slate. I think it looks much better. I leveled out the chipped slate with a rake and then compacted it with a tamper. I compacted it several times. This really helps. Then at the end, I swept the border block and the patio and cleaned up the area. Good morning. It's Sunday, and this project is complete. I've got my path done, nice and dry to walk on. It rained last night pretty heavily. Normally this would be covered in mud and standing water. The dogs would be running through it. I have to clean them up before they get in the house. But now I've got a nice path to walk on. I think it looks fantastic. It's got a great border with a couple of pots. I put a couple of flat stones to place some pots on to border the entryway into the patio. And this is a project complete. I think it looks fantastic, and it's a nice accent to the yard. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next project.